Hello, off-campus fans. If you're clicking on this video, I assume you are already an off-campus fan or you're curious about off-campus. Thank you so much for clicking and spending your precious time with me. I wanted to talk about some of the changes that are going to be made, changes that we know for a fact are going to be made in the show. Now, I'm going to say my thoughts. I have some positive thoughts and then I have some concerns, we'll call them. I don't want to call them negatives because I have not seen a single scene of this show yet, obviously. So I reserve the right to change my feelings about any of these things when the show comes out. I'm just wanting to put it out there, talk to other fans out there. We're basically on FaceTime, okay? I think I want to start with, let's say, Tucker. So in the last off-campus Thursday, the off-campus social medias put out this roster where we get to see all of the guys, or a lot of the guys, like the main cast on this roster. We get to see their positions on the hockey team and then also their grade. And surprise, surprise. Oh, by the way, sorry, disclaimer. There will obviously be some spoilers for the book. So if you want to avoid spoilers, this is not going to be the video for you. You can watch it later. Or if you don't care, welcome, stay. Okay, so on the roster, we get to see the positions, the grades. We see that Garrett and Logan are juniors, but then we see Tucker is a sophomore and Dean is a senior. I didn't feel too concerned that Tucker is going to be a sophomore because ever since they had put out the casting notice looking for that character, they had notated that he's going to be the youngest of the crew. So I was prepared for that. And to be honest, there's been a lot of mean comments being said about the actor playing him because he looks nothing like his book counterpart. Maybe because Tuck's book is not my favorite book. I don't really care that much. And I think the actor is cute. I've seen him on The Pit. He's a good actor. So I'm not mad about that. He's younger. I wasn't surprised. I think, and someone's comment on TikTok did make sense to me that they can't have all of the boys be juniors when the show starts because then like in the next season 2, then they would all need to graduate. So I do see a scenario where the show creators and the writers had to come up with a way to kind of navigate the grades and the characters so that we can make sure we actually have 4 seasons. So I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think this way we'll have time to see Tucker grow. And his book, presumably, will be the last season of the show. So that makes sense to me. What didn't make sense to me, and I was very, very concerned, I'll be honest, I was like, what the fuck? Dean is a senior? If he starts off the show as a senior, how does he continue being on the show? But then, some of the fan sites are in communication with some of the creators. They're under an NDA, so they can't share too much. But they had sent a message through the fan sites letting the fans know that this is a change that Elle actually wanted, Elle Kennedy, the author of the books. So I can't really say much against that, but I think it's really fair of the fans to be really confused by that. I know that some of the fan sites had put up definitions of adaptation on their social medias, which is, cute, cheeky, and sassy, but it is within our rights to say, I think this is an understandable thing to be confused about if Dean is a senior. Because, how's that going to work? And then there were theories about how, maybe he'll be a super senior. Maybe when Bo dies, it sends him into this spiral and then he ends up being held back. Maybe he fails. And then I'm like, wait, how is he going to fail? Because in the books, Dean is secretly smart. That's something that you like about him. It's like a trait that you like about him. So there's so many theories. There's lots of concerns. I do feel a little bit less concerned this week. It took me a whole week to, not have a conniption. And what makes me feel better about it is that it's a change that Elle wanted. So this is her world, her characters. She knows the ins and outs. I have to believe that, she made that decision for a reason. And I don't think that this doesn't mean we won't get Dean's season. We obviously need to. I don't know. I am not a TV writer. I am not smart enough to know exactly how this is going to work. I am still pretty confused, but we shall wait and see. Okay, so another change that I wanted to go through was Justin. Justin Cole is the crush of Hannah Wells. Hannah is our main female character, our heroine, and she has the crush on this guy. Now, in the book, he is a football player. And in the show, they have turned him into this very hot musician guy. He's in a band. And like I said, he is very, very good looking. The man is fine. I could easily see him being Mr. Popular as well on campus. Some people were very mad about this change. I have to tell you, the moment that I saw this change, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, Hannah loves music. She is a music major. She composes music. Like, music is a huge part of her life. And I think I don't know. I feel like this is something that I could see in real life where like somebody kind of shares that kind of love language with you, and you kind of, or even like how we love artists today. Like, we connect with their music somehow. Like, I'm sure she notices that he is a very fine looking man, and then she probably loves his music. I think the crush makes a lot of sense, but more than that, you guys, this has the possibility of making Garrett even more jealous. There are moments of that in the book, which I love. And in a romantic fictional novel, y'all, I am a jealousy scene slore, okay? Now imagine this scene. Imagine Justin and Hannah doing a duet for whatever reason, and then the camera zooms in on Garrett's sad, mad face. It just makes things just juicier and angstier, and I want to see this man just catch himself catching feelings, and he's like, wait, what, but I don't care. I'm not trying to get with Hannah. But I really, really can't stand just like, I think it's going to play into that even more. I do think they're going to obviously play up Justin's role even more. Not to the point where it's a legit triangle, because this is not the summer I turned pretty, but he's being made into a musician, and he's a very attractive man. And then in the beginning of the book, with all fairness, Hannah has like this big time crush. And because for her, Justin is a guy that she gets the tingles for, and she hadn't felt that in a long time. And she gets like nervous around him. I saw people being concerned about like, oh, but the whole point of him being a football player is like Garrett knows athletes, and like he knows that like what kinds of girls he's into. But I'm like, they could easily explain that away. If Justin Cole is in a band on campus or off campus, and he's popular, Garrett is also popular, he probably notices the kinds of girls that Justin are into. Or, you know, because Garrett is also popular, once he is going out with Hannah, that can still catch Justin's attention if they are putting themselves in the same place, the same parties. I think that's easily explainable. I'm not mad about it. I'm actually very excited to see how this works. I can't wait. Okay, so we're coming down to, I would say, my biggest concern. This is a change. So in one of Ella Bright's photo dumps on Instagram, somebody actually commented saying that they saw her filming a scene outside the hockey arena, and it's a scene where she was in a kind of presumably a heated discussion with Garrett. And I'm the commentator who asks, what scene is this? He was so nice, and he actually replied back. I will try to put a screenshot of the comments. Hopefully you can read it. You can take the time to pause it for yourself. Go ahead, pause it. I will wait. We're back. So I hate to be this person, but because I can't help, I can't turn back the time and not read the book. I have read the book, and I've reread the book, so I remember this scene pretty clearly. This is the scene where Garrett hits the guy who was one of the friends of Hannah's rapist. He was a friend who lied on the stand. And in the book, Garrett is enraged. He starts questioning him, and then he ends up hitting him after the guy calls Hannah a slut. He is like blindly angered. And then after that, Garrett feels really nervous to go to Hannah's dorm, and he feels really shitty about what he did. And Hannah does tell him you shouldn't have gone after him, but she gives him a hug. She's worried about him. She asks him, are you okay? They have a heart-to-heart, and they have a discussion about it. He falls asleep, stays in her dorm. But in the show, she's going to be mad at him, and then they kind of like go their separate ways. I don't love that, just because I like how she's understanding in the book. She's not getting angry at him. And if they go their separate ways, how does the breakup actually happen? And then after that, how does the campus-wide hands-off law happen? Because between the fight and the Phil Graham scene in the book, where the dad kind of like blackmails her to break up with him, that kind of happens very close together. So now I'm wondering, in the show, is it going to be like, okay, they have this argument about hitting the guy, then they go their separate ways, but they're not really broken up, but then like they don't get a chance to talk, so Phil Graham intercepts and then blackmails Hannah, and then they break up, but then he thinks it's because she thinks he's like this raging, abusive guy. And that's like one of Garrett's biggest fears. Like, he tries to control his temper. He doesn't want to be like his father. So I could see them doing something like that. And you know what? If it ends up being like that, but we still get to the point where Garrett doesn't believe, like he gets to the point where he doesn't believe what she's saying. Like, he knows she's lying. And so he invokes the law on campus. I could see a world in which I'm okay with that, but I just don't want to see them fighting. But I get it. It's a television show. They have to make things even more dramatic because it's a different medium, and I will have to get over it. And I'm telling myself now, even if certain things happen differently or they added certain things, if we can get the same end result, if the goal is the same, then I think I can be okay with it. It's really like, we need to get to the point where we can do the hands-off law. Like, I'm trying to be an understanding fan. I'm trying to be flexible. So, you know, I'm trying to work with you, showrunners. But anyway, my camera's overheating. I've got to run. Let me know all of your thoughts, your insights, your theories. Be nice in the comments. And thank you guys so much. I'm so excited to watch the show next year. Please subscribe if you're liking this content. Hit the like button. It really helps me out. And I'll catch you guys next time.